Now comes a fun time. Now I have a legal pad always sitting with me, and I write the name of the person that was coming up, Dad, Bob, whatever. Write it right there. And I just write under that, in the next line, I just put you, Y-O-U. Because we're going to start listing the charges we have against this person. And I list them as charges. And I says, so what has this person done? What are the charges you have against them? Okay, and they're looking at their father, they're looking at this guy that hurt them, or whatever. Their brother, their son, it just gets nutso. Whoever it is, they need to forgive. And they're just sitting there and they say, you, like that one lady just started right there, you raped me. She was done with her list. That's it. He raped me. I said, no, you're not done. So why? What are the implications? What are the ramifications of him raping you? You stole from me. You stole my purity. You stole my trust in men. You stole the beauty of what sex should be. I mean, we went right down the line with all these things that this person stole when he raped her. Amazing. And when she got into the attitude of that, then she started coming up with this list of things that had happened in her soul that happened because this guy raped her. And man, we had a list then. Okay? You got to get thorough. You got to get thorough. Write down the list of offenses done by the offender. Now, you got to be thorough but not redundant. And I always put the you. I want to make sure that they state, you did this to me. Thorough but not redundant. But there are things that they forget to do, okay, that they don't. When it's a bad father, a father that they're having, one of the things I always bring up is, okay, what about this one? You stole a good childhood from me. And that's probably one of the biggest things is they felt they had the right to have a good, fun lifestyle as a child. And when that father didn't give that to them, they were ripped off. So one of the things that is a charge that I bring up is you stole a good childhood from me. That's heavy. You stole a good father from me. I was supposed to have a father that cared, and you didn't. You stole a good father from me. And I am left without it. I don't have that. I add some of these things, okay? And we get kind of thorough. It's not guided because I'm not showing them what they're seeing. I'm letting them find it, okay? And I'm helping them see what it is they're doing, okay? I'm helping them understand it. It's not me saying, okay, now Jesus is going to come over and he's going to do this, and I'm making Jesus do it for them. Okay? It's not guided imagery when we're saying, okay, ask Jesus what he wants to do. That's not guided. But it is in a courtroom because there's a ramification of a forgiveness and a judgment that has been made that needs to be dealt with. This is a judicial thing. They've already made the judgment. Now they have to cancel that judgment. But they have to understand what the charges are that they made against this person. So that's what we're doing, just writing down the charges. That make sense? Okay? Be thorough but not redundant. And listen, you know the charges they have against this person when you interviewed them. During that initial interview and what's going on, they told their story. They're telling you all this stuff. You've got most of the charges. Let them open. Okay? Now, this gets really fun. You got to understand, I do this often with a husband and a wife in the room together. And I'm having her take him to the courtroom, and he's sitting right there. And I said, okay, what are the charges you have against him? And I look at this guy and I say, you cannot talk, you cannot respond, you cannot grunt, you cannot moan, you cannot anything. You sit there like a rock and listen. Okay. And so I sit there and she just, well, you made me feel like this. You did this to me like this. And it's inevitable every single time the husband's looking at her like, I did? He had no clue that was what she was feeling. And that what he did made her feel this way. He had no clue. None. It's amazing. They've never communicated it. But she has all this judgment against him. To sit there and listen to those is pretty heavy duty. After the charges have been listed, that's when I look to them and I say, I want you to ask Jesus, look at Jesus, and say, Jesus, how do you see my dad? Jesus, how do you see the rapist? Jesus, how do you see the guy that ripped me off? How do you see him? Now that's a simple question. This is where it really shows it's not guided imagery because I'm not telling them what they're seeing. Okay? They asked Jesus a question. Lord, how do you see the person? Okay? Well, Maybe their judgments may prevent them from seeing this because they may be so mad at the person they're not going to listen. Okay? But most of the time, and I mean the vast majority of the time, they see something. The Lord shows them something. Well, this is being very sneaky. I like being sneaky. The Bible says, be sneaky as serpents, but harmless as doves. Isn't that what it says? Close. It is being sneaky. Why? Because what you've done is you've asked them to see things the way Jesus does, and the sting against them is starting to leave already. They're already starting to lose the sting of the offenses. Okay? Isn't that sneaky? Yes, ma'am.
What do you do if they can't see it? If they're so angry that where do you go with that?
That's okay. We'll do it later. Okay? If they can't see it now, it's okay. We do it after forgiveness. After they've forgiven them, then they can see him better. But most of the time they can see him. But if they can't see it, well, we'll go back and do it later. Okay? Because forgiveness now has started as soon as they see them the way Jesus sees them. It is amazing that they are not seeing them the way they normally see them. All of a sudden they're seeing information they've never had before. Okay? I've had people go, oh, he's just their dad. Dad beat him. It was horrible, horrible dad. Just bad news dad. And I said, okay, ask him, Lord, how do you see my dad through your eyes? Lord, how do you see my dad through your eyes? And all of a sudden their face just changes and their eyes soften up. And I've had so many people start crying right there. Why? They saw their dad as this little boy who had been abused. And then he became a father and didn't know how to be a father. And he was so frustrated. And they're sitting there seeing the damage that has happened to them, happened to their dad, happened to them. Okay? They're just seeing how it's, they're going, oh man, he didn't know how to be a father. Forgiveness has started. They're starting to see. Okay? I love this part. Then I say, okay, turn back to the offender. And here's what I want to tell him. Now, this is about the only time that I give you a script. I tell you, you say this. And the reason is because we have learned that all these things that you're going to be saying have great importance. And they must be stated. Okay? So I have them say this turn to the offender and say, I have these charges against you. It makes them confess that I have these charges against you. You have hurt me in this way. I have these charges against you. And to me, they are real. This isn't made up. This isn't supposed. To me, this is real. And see, what you're doing is you're getting them to confess that they have these charges and that they are real. Okay? Then it says, this court is illegal. Now here you are as a judge telling the offender, the court that has sentenced you and has condemned you before, this court is illegal. Why? Because you don't, and it says right here, I do not have the authority to judge you. That is an amazing thing to tell an offender. I do not have the authority to judge you. I need to turn you over to a higher court with true authority. All of a sudden you say, I'm turning this thing over. I'm taking you out of this court that has no authority, and I'm putting you in a court that does have true authority. It's a higher court. Wow. Okay? To do so, I must drop these charges against you. Now, you got to understand that I am making them say this out loud. Okay? Okay? So I'll say, repeat after me. Repeat after me. Okay? I have these charges against you.
I have these charges against you.
To me, they are real.
To me, they are real.
But this court is illegal.
But this court is illegal.
I do not have the authority to judge you.
I do not have the authority to judge you.
I must turn you over to a higher court with true authority.
I must turn you over to a court with higher authority.
To do so, I must drop these charges.
To do so, I must drop these charges.
Therefore, I declare to you today,
Therefore, I declare to you today,
I forgive you for.